Deputy Governor Omar Kadafor and over 100 other passengers narrowly escaped a tragic incident when a MAX Air aircraft experienced an engine fire shortly after takeoff from Maiduguri International Airport. The incident occurred around 7 p.m. on Wednesday when the aircraft en route Abuja suffered engine failure caused by a bird strike about 10 minutes into the flight. The pilot and crew managed to execute an emergency landing back at Maiduguri Airport, averting disaster. A MAX Air staff member who spoke on the condition of anonymity confirmed the incident, saying shortly after takeoff, the aircraft struck a bird mid-air, which caused one of the engines to catch fire, but the pilot acted swiftly to ensure the safety of all passengers. This comes as the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, as well as the Director General of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, Captain Chris Najomo, airline operators, and other relevant stakeholders have been summoned by the Senate over the incessant delay and cancellation of flights by airline operators in the country. The Red Chamber, while adopting a motion sponsored by Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari of the APC Oyo North during plenary, charged its committee on aviation to unravel the circumstances behind the anomaly with a view to finding a lasting solution. Buhari, presenting the motion, lamented over the development, which he stressed is worrisome, adding that unwarranted flight delays and cancellations will be counterproductive to the socio-economic growth and development of the country. Meanwhile, the Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has approved the disbandment of the Security Joint Inspections Table to end corrupt practices and unnecessary delays of passengers at Nigerian terminals, especially during the Yuletide season. Keyamo, in a post on X, said the decision was aimed at curbing the menace of harassment of travelers by various government agencies. This decision was also contained in a position paper by the Managing Director of the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria, Olubunmi Kuku, dated December 2nd and endorsed by the Minister. A fire has engulfed a section of the Queen Elizabeth Hall, a female-only hostel for undergraduates at the University of Ibadan. The incident occurred in the early hours of Thursday, although the exact cause of the fire remains unknown as of the time of filing this report. The fire primarily affected the offices of the hall warden and the secretary, raising concerns about the safety and security of students residing in the facility. Confirming the incident, the Director of the Public Relations of the institution at the university, Joke Akimpelu, said the cause of the fire has not been officially determined, adding that investigations are on the way. The Senate, at commencement of plenary, replaced the Chief Whip, Senator Tahir Mungunu, APC Borno North, with Senator Kaka Shehu, Borno Central, to represent the Northeast geopolitical zone in the committee, scheduled to meet with the Attorney General of the Federation on the tax reform bills earlier on Thursday. Recall that the Senate had constituted a 10-man committee headed by the minority leader, Senator Abba Moru, a PDP Bedouin South, to meet with the AGF and address the gray areas in the tax reform bills that have ignited opposition to the bills. But the Senate resolved that principal officers of the Red Chamber should not be part of the meeting, apart from the committee members. The Senate leader, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, APC Ekiti Central, in his submission during plenary, however, said Senator Moro was made chairman of the committee to ensure transparency. In another development, a bill proposing the creation of a coastal state from the current Ondo State has passed its first reading in the Senate. The bill, sponsored by Senator Jimoh Ibrahim, representing APC in Ondo South, seeks a constitutional amendment to enable the establishment of the new state aimed at fostering development in riverine communities within Ondo's Southern Senatorial District. Speaking on the bill, Senator Ibrahim emphasized the importance of the proposed coastal state in accelerating the socio-economic growth of the region, particularly its riverine areas. Addressing concerns over alleged plans to incorporate the Ondo Southern Senatorial District into the proposed Ijebu state, the senator opposed the idea as he declared that the district must remain part of the current Ondo state or the proposed coastal states. Ahead of the December 7 general elections in Ghana, former President Goodluck Jonathan has led a delegation of the West African Elders Forum Observation Mission to Accra. This was made known by the forum's communications officer, Welt Dixon Ominabo, in a statement made available to the newsmen in Abuja. Ominabo, in a statement, quoted Jonathan on arrival in Ghana, urging Ghanaians to be patriotic and work for peaceful, free, and transparent elections. He commended the people of Ghana for their enduring commitment to democratic values, adding that Ghana's history of peaceful political transition served as a beacon of democratic governance across Africa. The Nigerian Army has organized a workshop aimed at enhancing cooperation between the military, media, and other security agencies to address the growing challenges posed by the digital media landscape. The event, held at the Nigerian Army School of Public Relations and Information in Giri, Abuja, brought together security and paramilitary representatives, media professionals, and online publishers. Kikelomo Okere has details.
The workshop themed Leveraging Digital Social Media Influence for Effective Military Operation Within a Joint Environment was designed to explore how media can serve as a force multiplier in supporting military operations. The acting Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, who was represented by the Chief of Civil Military Affairs, Major General Nosakare Ubu, emphasized the media's pivotal role in supporting the Army's constitutional duties in promoting the national security. He commended the media for their roles in reporting the Army's achievements and reinforcing the need to combat fake news to foster public confidence in the military.
The media shapes not only the public perception, opinion, and narratives, but also influences and galvanizes public support, which is a vital variable for operational successes. To this end, the continuous and seamless collaboration between the Nigerian Army and the media must be maintained at all times.
The Director of Army Public Relations, Major General Onyema Nwanchukwu, highlighted the crucial roles of the media in shaping public perception, particularly in the era where digital platforms often fueled misinformation and disinformation. He noted that while social media presents opportunities for the military to communicate its successes, it also poses risk by spreading false information that can undermine public trust and national security.
Ladies and gentlemen, is also organized as part of efforts by the Nigerian Army to further enhance the existing relationship amongst stakeholders in information management, the Nigerian Army and the public in the interest of national security and nation building.
The Commandant, Nigerian Army of Public Relations and Information, Lieutenant General Adamu Ngude, announces plans to modernize NASPRI, transforming it into a world-class institution aimed at equipping Army personnel with advanced skills to navigate modern media challenges. He says the workshop is aimed to strengthen the partnership between the military and the media to foster understanding, improve information management, and craft positive narrative to back national security efforts.
It is high time we realize that in modern warfare, the media plays a pivotal role for any successful military operations. This is because the media space has become the ultimate decider of who wins or loses the war. Therefore, the need to always collaborate with media for successful military operations becomes paramount for promoting the right narrative and messaging.
The workshop elaborates the importance of seamless collaboration between the Nigerian Army and the media in achieving national security goals. Kikelomo Okeri, Global Television News.
The Defense Headquarters has disclosed that troops of internal operations in the 5 theaters across the country neutralized a total of 8,034 terrorists, arrested 11,623 others, while 6,376 hostages were rescued between January and December 2024. Director of Defense Media Operations, Major General Edward Buba, who gave the figures at the bi-weekly update on military operations, said troops also recovered 8,216 weapons, while 211,459 ammunition and stolen crude oil. Buba gave the breakdown of the recovered items to include 4,053 AK-47 and 1,123 locally fabricated guns, with 731 Dane guns and 240 pump-action guns. In a bid to ensure the development of quality infrastructure across Imo State, Governor Hope Uzodinma has been touring various ongoing projects aimed at addressing the state infrastructure gaps and improving the quality of life for its residents. Amarachi Ibe was on the governor's entourage and now reports.
The governor began his tour at the Emmanuel Iwuanyanwu Convention Center in Owerri, a flagship project designed to transform the state into a hub for national and international events. The convention center, once completed, is expected to boost tourism, create job opportunities, and elevate Imo State's profile on the global stage. The governor moved to the Control Maria Assumpta Cathedral flyover, a critical infrastructure project aimed at easing traffic congestion in the state capital. The flyover is expected to significantly improve the flow of movements within Owerri.
So all we have seen is all the facility and international conference center, 80% complete. We saw the flyover at Assumpta Cathedral roundabout, almost 70% complete. You've come to Olu, you've seen the road, the Banana Junction to Eziashi, and the government house are next. In our quest to decentralize government, we have taken it upon us to build a government house annex in Olu and another one in Okigwe.
Next on the list was the ongoing rehabilitation of Eziachi-Olu Road, a key link road connecting several communities. This road, which has long been in a state of disrepair, is being revitalized to enhance access and improve transportation for residents. Governor Hope Uzodinma also visited the new government house annex. He commended the contractors for staying on the track with the project timeline and emphasized the importance of such projects in boosting governance efficiency.
It's not only a federal road, it's also connecting some other states. From here you can get to Anambra State. From here you can get to Akwa Ibom State and Abia State. And the level of devastation is so alarming that ordinarily one will assume that it's above the strength of a state government. But we have borrowed courage somehow to see how we can rescue our people from this malady.
Some residents of Eziachi expressed gratitude to the governor for reconstructing the road.
Before now, it has been flooded, and in fact, I don't even follow this road going back home from because of the flood. Sometimes there are cases of where children are being drawn along the line. So it's a very serious problem.
The governor also visited the Imo State Teaching Hospital, Olu, where a 200-bed medical facility is being constructed, which is expected to significantly improve the healthcare service for the people of Imo State. Governor Hope Uzodinma shifted his focus to the Umuchima erosion site, a long-standing ecological challenge threatening the livelihood and safety of residents in the south and north of the state, assuring the communities that his administration is fully committed to controlling the erosion and preventing further damage to the area. He expressed confidence that the project will be completed in record time with significant improvement to both the environment and the safety of residents. With the governor's assurance and ongoing efforts to address key infrastructure needs, residents remain hopeful that this project will bring long-lasting improvement to the state, enhancing the well-being and quality of life for all. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe, reporting for Global TV News.
Union Congress TUC has cautioned state governments against announcing a minimum wage that is not negotiated with organized labor at the state level. President of the Congress, Festus Osifo, stated this in Abuja while speaking at the end of the National Executive Council meeting of the Central Labor Body. He explained that minimum wage is not a standalone wage structure, but also the consequential adjustment of wages that involves other categories of workers. The TUC boss, who bemoaned the industrial dispute over wages in Cross River and Zamfara states, urged the two states to be responsive to the welfare of its workers. The Edo State Police Command has ordered an investigation into the circumstances that led to the death of a former chairman of the Nigerian Labour Congress, Comrade Kaduna Ebo Igbondin, at the police checkpoint in Benin City. The command spokesman, SP Moses Yamu, stated that the State Commissioner of Police, Omoru Ozigi, gave the order while commiserating with the widow and family and friends of the deceased over the loss and pray for the repose of his soul. Reports say Ebo Igbondin was driving with his spouse on Monday in Benin City when the police stopped him and demanded his vehicle particulars, which he provided, but a discrepancy in the documents sparked a heated argument as the police were said to have accused him of driving a stolen vehicle. The situation, according to reports, degenerated into argument, and Ebo Igbondin, who had become infuriated, slumped on the spot. The trial of the immediate past governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, and his finance commissioner, Engineer Ademola Banu, have been arraigned before Justice Mahmood Abdul Ghaffar of the Kwara State High Court in Ilorin over the alleged stealing and mismanagement of public funds to the tune of 5.78 trillion naira. The governor and his finance commissioner were, among others, accused of having conspired to steal money meant for payment of salaries of teachers working with the Kwara State Universal Basic Education Board. However, the duo pleaded not guilty and were consequently admitted to bail, and the case was adjourned to trial. At the resumed hearing on Wednesday, the EFCC presented the first witness, Abubakar Hassan, Assistant Director of Finance, Universal Basic Education Commission, who told the court that the Kwara State government misappropriated about 5 billion naira meant to execute projects at primary and junior secondary schools between 2013 and 2015, when Abdul Fattah Ahmed held sway as governor. Justice Abdul Ghaffar adjourned further hearing in the case till February 17, 2025. Some members of the Nigerian Armed Forces retirees under the umbrella of the Coalition of Military Pensioners in Abuja reportedly shut down the Federal Ministry of Finance over the non-payment of their 20% to 28% salary increment from January to November 2024. The retired military officers who came from different chapters lamented the failure of the federal government to pay them their entitlements. Hence, they demand payment of palliatives from October 2023 to November 2024. Payment of 32,000 added to pension payment of security agencies, debarment allowance in bulk, and refund deductions made from the pensions of medically boarded soldiers, amongst others. You're watching News Express on Global Television, coming to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. When News Express returns, Togo to elect a first Senate in February under Constitution overhaul. Details of these as well as business and sports stories coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Welcome back from the break. In business, the Bank of Industry BOI has secured a $50 million facility from the African Guarantee Fund to help more women business owners scale their enterprises. The agreement was signed at the ongoing African Investment Forum in Rabat, Morocco, by BOI's Managing Director and CEO, Dr. Olasupo Olusi. Dr. Olusi stated that the facility aligns with President Bola Tinubu's vision to promote inclusiveness and drive economic prosperity. Bitcoin has soared past the $100,000 mark, driven by a surge in investor confidence following United States President-elect Donald Trump's pivot towards the cryptocurrency, which climbed to $103,800 on Thursday, and which saw a remarkable 50% rise since Trump's election victory in November. The rally gained momentum after Trump nominated Paul Atkins, a prominent crypto advocate, to lead the Securities and Exchange Commission, SEC. On the foreign scene, Togo is to hold its first elections for the upper house of parliament, the Senate, on February 2nd, one of the last steps towards implementing a contested new constitution. The government said on Thursday the overhaul abolishes the election of the head of state by universal suffrage and introduces a parliamentary system. It has been slammed by opposition and civil society groups as a ploy by President Faure Gnassingbe to hold on to power indefinitely. Togo strongman has ruled over the small West African country of 8.8 million people since 2005, when he took over from his father in power for 38 years. Under the previous constitution, Gnassingbe would have been able to run for the presidency just one more time in 2025. Colombian Finance Minister Ricardo Bonilla has resigned at the request of President Gustavo Petro after accusations that he turned a blind eye to the bribery of parliamentarians. A former advisor accused Bonilla last week of knowing that lawmakers were being paid off in return for backing key reforms promised by Petro. The Attorney General's office alleges the bribes were paid with $200,000 taken from public funds, but Bonilla has maintained his innocence. However, Petro said at a press conference that Bonilla would be replaced by his deputy, Diego Guevara. In sports, the draw for the expanded FIFA Club World Cup takes place in Miami, offering a first glimpse into the fine details of a tournament that has been viewed with indifference or even outright hostility across the parts of the football world. 32 star-studded club teams will battle it out in a glimmering state-of-the-art areas in what is effectively a cutting razor for the 2026 World Cup taking place a year later in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. In the theory, the new look competition ought to be an enticing prospect that sells itself a month-long football festival, the first large-scale football tournament to feature teams from all the corners of the world. Super Falcons and Paris FC shortstopper Chiamaka Nnadozie has been named in the final shortlist of 5 to battle for the prestigious CAF Women's Player of the Year to be decided at the Paris, the Congress de Marrakesh, Morocco on December 16. The Confederation of African Football CAF unveiled the top 5 nominees in each of the women's categories at the upcoming 2024 CAF Awards, with Nnadozie also listed for the Women's Goalkeeper of the Year award, which she accidentally won last year. According to the Continental Soccer ruling body, the 2024 CAF Awards cover the period from January to October this year. To end Global TV News Express, a recap of our top stories. Police have begun probe as ex-Edo Nigerian Labour Congress chair dies after dispute with officers. In business, Bank of Industry has signed $50 million to facilitate to support women, small and medium-scale enterprises. On the foreign scene, Togo is to elect a first Senate in February under constitution overhaul. And in sports, FIFA is set to reveal Club World Cup draw amid apathy and legal threats. That's it on News Express on Global TV, and it came to you live from the nation's capital, Abuja. A quick reminder that Global Television is on DSTV channel 365 and Star Times on channel 276, and free to air on Niconsat. Kindly follow us across all social media platforms now showing on your screen at Global TV NG. I am Anthony Momodu. Thank you for watching.